Carolina took another big loss this week, but we reset everything this week for week 4. How's it going, everybody? I'm Jason of Jason's Realm here, and today I'm here bringing you guys week 4 fantasy football. Basically, we have $200 to make the best lineup, but I am adding a little catch this week. We have a new competitor entering the ring. We have David joining us in this, so now it's going to be me versus David head-to-head, starting off at an even slate. Let's just dive right into this. So up first for our quarterback, both of us are going with Joe Burrow for a total of $18 spent thus far. Joe Burrow going to have a relatively easy time against the Titans this week. The Bengals should be back offensively now as long as they keep Ja'Marr Chase in the fold. So the Bengals and Joe Burrow should have a fairly straightforward week against the Titans. For running back ones, David is going with Bijan Robinson of the Falcons. Bijan is the heart and soul of that Falcons team, and Bijan is $35. That means that David now has spent a total of $53. Meanwhile, I am picking Josh Jacobs up for $29, so I am sitting at $47 spent thus far. Josh Jacobs should have a nice little rebound week against that Brandon Staley defense. I'm expecting a touchdown in there. Josh Jacobs should be a solid pickup as well, but Bijan's not a bad option either. Alright, so for our second running backs, David is going with DeAndre Swift of the Eagles for $11, so he is at $64 spent. I'm going to be coming up to $63 spent, picking up Travis Etienne of the Jaguars. Now, DeAndre Swift and the Eagles should have themselves a fairly solid week this week. The Eagles should be able to pull off a fairly straightforward win against Washington. It's really a straightforward choice here. Meanwhile, if we take a look over at my pick, Travis Etienne, against the Falcons defense, that should be a fairly high-scoring affair for Etienne, so you're looking at a fairly solid look for them. Up next, wide receiver ones. David is going with Davante Adams for $35, meaning he is now up to $99 spent. I'm going with Puka Nacua for $10, so I am at $73 spent. Now, Davante Adams and the Raiders are going to be going up against the Los Angeles Chargers defense. Brandon Staley's defense has not really been great this season, so it should be a fairly straightforward pickup for Davante Adams. Meanwhile, I am going with Puka Nacua because the Rams are going up against a Colts team that might not be the greatest defensively, especially in the secondary. So if the offensive line holds for the Rams, Matthew Stafford should have time to throw, and he will hit his man, Puka Nacua, for a good game this week. Both of our wide receiver twos this week are going to be Ja'Marr Chase of the Cincinnati Bengals for $56. I'm now up to $129. David is up to $155. Ja'Marr Chase really should have a fairly straightforward week here. Once again, it's the Bengals against the Titans. Fairly straightforward choice there, and it's really an easy decision. Alright, for the flex, David going with Amari Cooper for $20, so he's at $175 spent. I am going with Austin Eckler of the Chargers for $53, so I am up to $182 spent. And Austin Eckler going up against the Raiders defense should be a fairly straightforward bet, should be a fairly easy pickup. He should have a good situation here. He's going to be running a lot. The Raiders defense is not the greatest. Passing game should be a fairly straightforward shot there to include Eckler as well for Herbert. So he should be set up for a good week here. Meanwhile, Amari Cooper and the Browns. Amari Cooper is turning up to be the number one weapon for Deshaun Watson, and it's not even close. So just taking a look at that, as long as Deshaun Watson has a decent game, Amari Cooper will have himself a solid game against this week as well. Up next for tight ends, I'm going with George Kittle for $16 against the Arizona Cardinals, so I am up to $198. Meanwhile, David going with TJ Hawkinson for $22, bringing him up to a total of $197 spent. Now, TJ Hawkinson of the Vikings, we'll have to see what they can do. The Minnesota Vikings going to have a fairly straightforward game against Carolina this week. So, Hawkinson should get involved early and often. So that's a fairly safe pickup for tight end. Meanwhile, George Kittle, it's the Cardinals are going up against. Need I say more? Kittle is a good target for Purdy, and yeah, it's just going to be straightforward. Easy point. For kickers, we're both going with Tyler Bass for $1. The Bills should have a good amount of field goals or a good amount of kicks going up against the Dolphins. We expect the Bills to have a huge week offensively, so that's where that comes in. And defenses, David going with the Eagles for $1. I'm going with the Steelers for $1. The Eagles, I should know who they're going up against, but I don't offhand. The Eagles going up against the Commanders. Yeah, the Commanders' offense is not going to be anywhere good. And the Steelers going up against the Texans. I think they're going to feast on a rookie quarterback here this week. So it should be a fairly high point scoring week for the Steelers defense as well. Alright, so to recap here, David's lineup for this week is Joe Burrow, Bijan Robinson, DeAndre Swift, Davante Adams, Ja'Marr Chase, Amari Cooper, TJ Hawkinson, Tyler Bass, and the Philadelphia Eagles. My lineup this week, on the other hand, is Joe Burrow, Josh Jacobs, Travis Etienne, Puka Nacua, Jamar Chase, Austin Eckler, George Kittle, Tyler Bass, and the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Alright, so that's about going to do it. Let me know down in the comments below what you think of me and David's lineup. Let me know who you think is going to win down in the comments down below. And if you haven't already, check out our Week 4 predictions video over here to see who we got winning this week. And I guess I will see you guys later. Peace out and have a good one.